Today's movie is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And let me tell you, us clickbait YouTube movie reviewers love movies with long titles like The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, because we get to say the title over and over and pad the runtime of our videos to fit in more ads. Thanks, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. In this movie, Nick Cage plays himself. The movie doesn't go so far as to say he's washed up, it kinda dances around that, probably to avoid bruising its star's ego, but things could be better. He's divorced and his daughter doesn't like him very much, and he's just lost a big role in a movie and is thinking about quitting acting. Also, his younger self keeps appearing in hallucinations to overact and cause trouble. The bills are piling up, so he agrees to a strange offer to go to a rich Cage fanatic's home for his birthday party. This guy is Javi, played by Pedro Pascal. He meets Javi, and while the guy is a little eccentric, they hit it off pretty well and start to work on a screenplay together. Things start getting complicated, though, when the CIA shows up and informs Cage that his new friend is a crime lord and they need his help taking him down. As his life starts looking more and more like one of his movies, Cage must decide where his allegiances lie. So this was an interesting experience for me. I had the opportunity to see a Nicolas Cage film in the theater. This hasn't happened since Left Behind in 2014, and this might shock you to find out, but I didn't think that movie was very good. It's still kind of strange because it doesn't seem like the type of movie that they would release in the theaters. There were a lot of inside jokes about past Cage movies that you might not get if you're not familiar with his work, and it seems odd to base your film so strongly around an actor who's been out of the spotlight for so long. Oh well, I'm not here to discuss financial aspects. Let's talk about the movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. There are three movies that came to mind when I watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and if I'm honest with you, it did hold back my enjoyment of the film being reminded of these films so much. The first and most well-known of these three was Birdman, starring Michael Keaton. Now, Michael Keaton doesn't play himself in that one, but he does play an aging actor who can't get away from the time when he played a famous superhero in a series of films, so he might as well be Michael Keaton. The scenes and talents in which Cage talks to his past self are straight out of Birdman, only in Birdman this had a satisfying payoff, in Talent it's just dropped. Now the second was a movie called JCVD, and hey, I know that Nick Cage has seen this one.
It's probably horrid, but I love it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's really like a secret. I'm pretty blunt about everything I like, whether other people like it or not. But and it's Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD.
Oh, JCVD is incredible.
And
that
what
monologue.
Yeah, well, what I liked about it was I really saw his dramatic abilities.
In this one, Jean-Claude Van Damme plays himself, and he's also going through a divorce and has trouble connecting with his daughter. And he also gets caught up in a crime story in which his celebrity status plays a factor in the proceedings. It's a robbery hostage situation in this one. On the plus side for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, JCVD is terrible. It's one of the worst shot films ever made. It looks like they used the camera on a flip phone. It's also mopey and dull, and Talent is light and breezy. Now, the final film Unbearable reminded me of is the most obvious one since they share a star, and that's Adaptation. Both feature two versions of Nick Cage, disagree with each other a lot, and both are about writing yourself into a screenplay and creating a looping meta-narrative. Both also turn into typical Hollywood silliness by the end, despite the writer characters insisting that they keep things down to earth. So kids, you could say I didn't really find this movie to be all that unique in its presentation. That doesn't make it bad though. Overall, Unbearable is bearable. There were laughs to be had throughout. There was one really big laugh in a certain kissing scene, but most of the jokes were chuckle-worthy. I really enjoyed Cage and Pascal's buddy relationship. It was weirdly sweet, and the action-packed finale I could have done without. The first half was definitely better when it was Cage and Pascal just hanging out together. Overall, kids, I think this one's gonna have trouble finding an audience. Casual movie watchers might find the jokes and references going over their heads, and movie nerds will see how heavily it borrows from other films. I don't regret watching it, but it's probably a one and done for me. 5 out of 10.